Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I will be discussing 5 most asked questions I get as an optician. So I have a couple of notes written down just to make sure I answer them completely. So let's just get right into it. The first question I get all the time is, what is astigmatism? So astigmatism basically means that your cornea, which is the clear part of your eye, instead of it being a perfect circle, it's more of an oval shape. So most of the time you would hear it's more like a football shape. So all this means is that you need 2 corrections to see clearly with your lenses. It's not a very serious condition as long as you wear your glasses, especially in children who have astigmatism. As they grow and they're developing, their vision is changing. So if they wear their glasses, it's a lot better for them in the future. Okay, so that's what astigmatism basically is. Now, the second question I get is, what type of lenses do I need? Now, this all depends on what the doctor prescribes. And say you are sensitive to sunlight, then I could recommend to you a transition or a tint. A transition means when the sun hits the lenses, they get dark depending on the sun. When you come back in, they go clear. Or if you want a permanent, very small tint in there, if you're also bothered by indoor lights, the brightness of light, say you have migraines, headaches, just sensitivity on your phone, we can add a small tint that is permanent so you can see through and it won't bother when you're looking at a phone screen, if you're under fluorescent lights, even in the sunlight. So there's options for that. It really depends on also your budget. Transitions are more expensive. Tint is cheaper. And also what type of work that you do. So let's say you work in a kitchen, and I wouldn't recommend something called an anti-glare coating, which this has. So you see the blue in there, the blue glowing. So what that helps with is more of like if you're on the computer for a long time or if you're driving at nighttime. This is very, very beneficial. But if you're working in the kitchen, these tend to smudge very quickly. So if you're under heat in a messy area, your lenses are just going to be smudgy all the time. So what I would recommend is you have one for work without an anti-glare coating, just a regular lens, and then a driving pair with the anti-glare, because this helps with the brightness of the cars in front of you. And if you're on your phone a lot, it protects your eyes from that too. So it really depends on the work and what you really need on a daily basis. And then, so it also depends on if you have a single vision or a multifocal. So single vision is actually either just for reading or just for seeing far, like if you need to wear them all the time. And then I would have to recommend if you are a multifocal user, if you want a bifocal with the line, which is like a little square down here at the bottom, or if you want it to be invisible, that's called a progressive. Now I will get into more detail about each lens that I sell that is available to you that could be recommended in more detail in another video. But just for now, I'm just gonna answer these questions that I get all the time. So that's basically what I say when they ask what type of lens I need. It really depends on each person, each prescription, their daily lives, and what they really need. Okay, moving on. The third question is, what frame is good for me? So now we're talking about the frames. So now it depends on, let's say for example, if you have like a flatter nose, I would recommend nose pads. So what that is, it's these little things here. They're usually on metal frames. So these could get adjusted to your nose so it could hold better, so they're not sliding down all the time. For a small nose, we also recommend a frame that I'm wearing now, which has a keyhole bridge. which if you see closely, let me take them off. It's like a little keyhole right here in the bridge. What that does, it elongates your nose. So put them on, it creates a longer nose. So we recommend that to people who have shorter noses, who want to have like a longer nose so it doesn't look stubby. And then also for people who have longer noses, we recommend like plastic frame like this with a regular bridge just to sit right on their nose. They usually have no problems with them sliding down or anything like that. Now for a rounder face, we do recommend a little bit more of like a square kind of shape. It doesn't have to be like a rectangle, but like bigger, a little bit more of angles. And then for a long face, like nice square glasses are nice too. But longer face people could also wear like the very circle glasses. Those look really, really good on them too. And then the frame is chosen depending on the prescription too. So if the prescription is high, I wouldn't recommend something this thin because the lenses would pop out on the back and it would look very thick. There is options to thin out lenses, but we can only thin out lenses so much. So for a higher prescription, I would recommend a plastic frame. It would just look better. You won't have all that thickness on the back. And I would recommend to thin them out too. And then a lot of people always ask, how much is this going to cost me? Now, it really depends on your budget, on your insurance. If you're in a union, unions give discounts. Insurance does too. But it also depends on what kind of frames you want to get. I mean, there's name brand glasses, there's generic brands, there's, cheaper frames, more expensive frames. So yeah, I mean, it depends really on what you want to spend. Now, what you have to understand is that there's the frame and there's the lens. So there's two things you're purchasing in a pair of glasses. So it's the frames and the contacts, the lenses. And so you're paying for the frame. Let's say the frame is $50. Sometimes the lenses could be $100, so that's $150. Then depending on what kind of prescription you need, if you need transitions, little add-ons, anti-glare coating. So it really depends. There's a wide range of pricing that we can offer you, we can recommend to you. And let me just make sure I got everything. Okay. Now, I also do get asked, what size am I in glasses? Now, it's not a one size fits all. And most of the time, the best bet is to actually try them on. So there is numbers on frames. This right here would be the temple. Okay, so this temple right here is 140. So this is how long this is. And then there's the bridge right over here. This size is 20 and the lens part here is 53. So that's just the measurements of the frame. It's not the size that you are. So luckily, even if you're buying online, they do have now systems where you can put your face and you can try on the glasses and see how they look depending on, how they fit it on your face. So most of the time, it really is just trying them on. There's not a size that you are for a frame. And so yeah, that's basically the 5 questions I get asked about the most. If you like this video, if you want to know more, just drop down some questions that I can answer for you that you have. And please subscribe. Thank you.